Hello, welcome to SPE Live. We are at the twin-hosted LACPEC, the Latin American and Caribbean Petroleum Engineering Conference, and the International Conference and Exhibition on Health, Safety, Environment and Sustainability. Both are fully virtual events running live all this week and available on demand. My name is Nils Skogsonlo. I'm your host here at today's SPE Live. And today's SPE Live is part made possible by sponsorship from the SPE Foundation. So what a day. It's day one of the co-located conferences. So originally, prior to COVID-19, these two conferences were going to be co-located in the beautiful city of Bogota, Colombia. But because of COVID-19 and the travel restrictions, they became co-located in the virtual platform. So you can register for either one of the two conferences and enjoy the program content of both conferences. And the conferences, they opened up today with an opening ceremony moderated by our incoming president for SPE, Tom Blasingame, and he'll join us shortly in the studio. So the opening ceremony, during the ceremony, the speakers were Philippe Béon. He's the 2020 LACPEC General Chairperson and also President and CEO of Ecopetrol. Joining him was Carlos Sarmiento, the 2020 HSE General Chairperson and Area Manager for Schlumberger, and Diego Mesa, Minister of Mines and Energy of Colombia. So here's a soundbite from Diego Mesa from the opening ceremony.
Regarding unconventional deposits, we're in the process of finalizing the regulations to develop pilot projects in two important basins. These pilots will be conducted under the strictest control, including a transparent and sophisticated system of early alerts in case that any risk associated with environmental contamination or seismicity or exposure to natural radioactivity is likely to materialize. Colombia and this ministry is determined to further maintain the highest operations, safety, and environmental standards for the petroleum industry.
Some great key messages there from the Minister of Mines and Energy in Colombia. So that really does, in a nugget, in a nutshell, sort of summarize what we in the oil and gas industry are trying to achieve, that sustainable energy development for the world. Now, chairing that opening ceremony session was Tom Blasingame. He's joining us here in the studio. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. I know you're a very busy man, so really appreciate the time. So thank you.
It's my pleasure, Nils. Thank you, as always, for hosting. You do an outstanding job. I confess, Minister Mesa, he stole my thunder. I was really impressed by his comments about unconventionals, but of course, that's where I've lived and worked for the last, more years than I want to admit on an open microphone, but a long time. I used to look like him and you, young and impressionable. But I'm happy to be here, and thank you for, again, taking the time to visit with me.
All right, thank you, Tom. So great first day, great opening ceremony. What was your first impressions of the virtual environment, the participation, the quality of presentations, etc.?
I hate to say this, Nils, but I'm going to be a politician and mention I've been a bad boy. I've either been in class or in meetings all day, and I only attended the opening. I will comment that later on, throughout the week, I'll try to visit the sessions of interest and maybe even to step into a few otherwise. I know that, people want to talk about, okay, this is a 5-day conference. You really spread it out. And they did, because they wanted us to be able to enter and leave at our leisure and be able to see the things that we want to see. You had asked me before, Nils, if I was looking at, AI and data science and the digital transformation, EOR and IOR. Those aren't really my things. I shouldn't say that either, but I will tell you that historically, and probably not a lot of people know this, I did chair LACPEC, and I apologize, I lost count. I just know I went to it every year since 2009. So I think it was 2009, 10, 12, 14 that I was chair or co-chair, and then I also advised after that. And I was pretty much preoccupied with the run of the meeting, as I'm sure those people are. I really enjoyed the student events. I really enjoyed the social events. And I frankly really enjoyed the discussions about priorities in Latin America and Caribbean. Historically, as you know, this meeting moves to a different city, a different country, a different location every time it's offered. So there's an opportunity for us to see and get a feeling for the impact of what we do in that domain. Everybody knows my passion is reservoir engineering and unconventional reservoirs. I think I might have already let that leak in this discussion. So I plan to spend most of my time in those places. And I'll try to sneak off and see a few other things. I did serve on some panels about, education in the future and other things like that in the past when I was involved in LACPEC. And I was always appreciated I hate to say, use a word out of context, but the passion that exists for education and for the discipline in Latin America and the Caribbean. They really have a lot of interest and concern about our industry, and frankly, they want to make a bigger contribution. I think that's what I would leave everyone with, is that they want to make a bigger contribution to the industry.
Yeah, I think a lot of that energy that you're exuding right now is coming across in day one of the conference. I've seen a lot of really good panel discussions and Q&As throughout the day as I've been tracking it along. So yeah, that energy, that passion, that networking, I think is very evident already in this virtual event. So new technology, new opportunities for everybody to really participate. So thank you very much, Tom, for your insight and your energy and for opening up our very important conferences today. I will let you continue with your very busy day. I know you're a busy man, so thank you. And we'll catch up with you later in the week, I hope.
Thank you very, very much, Nils. And everyone, please do attend as much as you can. Give us feedback. This is going to be part of what we do for a long time to come. People like Nils and others are at the tip of the spear. Any advice you have, any guidance you have on what is something that you think can be improved or something that SPE should be doing that we're not, feel free to contact him. I hate to tell you that I'm going to give my email on here. It's tblasingame@spe.org. I think it'll be good until October 2022. So feel free to, direct your thoughts and wishes and your volunteerism to that email address
Always
if you would
important.
like to.
Yeah.
And Nils, I'll hand it back to you. They're not going to contact you. They're going to contact me, and then I'm going to contact you. How's that?
All right. No, I'll help you, Tom. Don't worry. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, obviously SPE conferences, they're all about the technology presentations, and, it goes to the heart of the SPE mission of knowledge sharing. So we spoke earlier today with Karin Gonzalez at Chevron, the program committee co-chair, about her impressions of the conference so far. So here she is talking to us earlier today. So now I am joined by Karin Gonzalez. She is the program committee co-chair for LACPEC 2020. So hi, welcome to the show, Karin. Great to have you with us.
Hi, Nils. Thank you for inviting me for organizing this.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. So what are your first impressions? Virtual conference, virtual environment. So, big day for the conference. What are your first impressions?
Yeah, so we're very pleased so far with the setup for the virtual conference. We all knew that it was going to be very challenging, being the first time that we do a technical event that is completely virtual, but we're seeing great participation and engagement from the audience. And of course, we have loved being in Bogota this time and attending in person for the conference, but we're also seeing how we can use the current technology to replicate a lot of that experience. So, for example, I spent this afternoon in the heavy oil session, and we had great talks and great participation with a lot of questions.
Great, thank you. So, a great start to day one. There was a really good opening plenary session. And then, as you said, you had the heavy oil technical session along with reservoir data management, petroleum business development case studies. A lot of other really cool stuff. Unconventional panel session coming up later this afternoon. Oh, sorry, that was this afternoon. Looking ahead, because the conference runs all week through till Friday, what are some of the highlights for you coming up?
So, to be honest, what I'm most excited about is the panel session. So, as you mentioned today, we have the unconventional, and we have a great set of panelists and speakers. We have, for this one, we have people from different countries. So, you have the US, Colombia, Argentina, all talking about their best practices. And tomorrow we have the digital transformation panel session, which we're going to have different views of how digital looks like. So from the operator point of view, the conventional oil service company and the sort of the new pure technology company that is now partnering with oil and gas. So we have all these different views. And on Wednesday, we're going to have the EOR that is going to go over the roadmap of EOR implementation in Latin America, going through the research and best practices for surveillance. So we're very thrilled to have so many great speakers together.
It's really great to hear. Thank you, Karin. So yeah, so those key technologies you just mentioned there, digital transformation, unconventionals, EOR, really get to the heart of our oil and gas business. So, and also to the heart of what SPE is about, knowledge transfer. So what for you sort of last key messages to the audience about, you know, this new culture of virtual environment? Does it make it more democratic, do you think, this conference?
Yeah, so probably it does, and that would be my recommendation to all the attendees. Just take full advantage of what this conference has to offer. To start with, we have 50 different technical sessions in LACPEC, and now you can, because it's digital, you can go and watch them all. You don't need to select which session you're going to be going next. You can just see them all and really interact with all the different speakers. We still have the great exhibition hall where you can go and learn about new technologies and new companies and actually chat in real time with a representative from these companies. And don't forget to network as well. Look around what the lounge and reconnect with friends that you haven't seen in a while. I've already done it. I've already talked to several people that I haven't seen in a long time. And even just start new conversations with people that you haven't met before. So COVID has certainly represented many challenges for all of us, but we can still make the most of it and continue exchanging technical knowledge. So go ahead and take full advantage of that.
Oh, thank you. That's a really powerful message to everybody who's listening to this show today. So thank you very much. And thank you very much for giving your time up to chat with us today. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil.
Looking forward to the rest of the conference. So thank you. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, so some very interesting sound bites there from Karin. Really great impressions from the first day. So, you know, she mentioned unconventionals, and we'll take a short look at unconventionals shortly. But, you know, the conference covers many, many different key technical subjects for not only Latin America, but also globally. So, you know, one of those key topics, you know, they include both the unconventionals, AI, digital transformation, EOR, and as importantly, you know, we have reservoir engineering. So earlier we also took a look at the first technical session at LACPEC today, which was on reservoir data management and interpretation. So around that, I talked to Eduardo Gildin about that first technical session. And here he is talking to us now. So joining me now is Eduardo Gildin. Hi, welcome to the studio, Eduardo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You're fresh out of your first virtual session, the first virtual technical session on day one of the LACPEC conference, Reservoir Data Management and Interpretation. Tell us a little bit about what your paper presentation was about today.
Sure. So my paper was basically a hybrid modeling. Hybrid means data-driven and physics-based modeling for creating a proxy for fast reservoir simulation basically in water flooding models. So we used this hybrid approach was basically using proper orthogonal decomposition with an error correction for different well locations.
Thank you. So like essentially a digital twin then of the reservoir.
Yeah, so basically the methodology is actually a backbone for a digital twin implementation, where we have a data-driven, core associated with the model.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's really interesting. So tell me, how was the experience? You know, we're in this virtual environment. So what was the experience like for you?
Okay, thank you. So it's one of a kind, I would say. It's I liked very much the structure of the. It's very well structured. That you can just go to a room and get your video, and listen to other presentations, and the interaction with the question and answer portal was smooth. Right, and of course, I know in the beginning, the audience was a little bit shy on asking questions, but once somebody just asked the first one, many other came up. So I think it was a nice interaction with among the audience and also the presenters.
Yeah, I also noticed that in your session. It was really good discussion and interaction with the audience, and really high quality questions coming in from the audience.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, looking ahead, you're the program committee advisor for LACPEC. So looking ahead to the rest of the week, there's a lot of really key core technologies being addressed in the conference, like AI applications for oil and gas, digital transformation, EOR, IOR, unconventionals. What are you looking forward to in the rest of the week?
Sure. Well, I think the technical committee put a really good program together, really high level technical content, and key presentations. I don't want to single out any presentation to be unfair to everybody, but I personally am looking forward to a digital transformation panel. And what I like as well, it is the collocation of the HSE presentations, that one can look at a little bit more on this the human interaction into the oil development.
Yeah, that's a key part of the whole conference, is that co-location, as you say, with the International HSE conference as well. And as you say, people can visit both conferences at the same time, and as you say, look at those different topics.
And what I show in my session was that this digital twin technology is not only served for speeding up computations, but also it is a initial step into creating designing something that reduces the footprint of any oil or any petroleum development.
Yeah, it's a key question, that sustainability and reducing that footprint. Thank you.
Right.
So any key messages you want to say to the audience about the conference? Adapting to new culture, that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. That's unprecedented. Times. I think everybody has been gone through this last 4 months of uncertainty. But I think if you look forward, I think this idea of having virtual presentation it's a good mode. Lots of you can get a little bit more contact with individual presenters through the chat. But I think looking forward, I think oil industry has been waiting to something to happen, right? And I think this if you look at some of these presentations, you can see there are a lot of new technologies coming into play.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Eduardo. So yeah, absolutely. New technologies, new way of working, new experiences, absolutely key to this whole experience. Eduardo, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it, and look forward to interacting with you during the rest of the next coming days of the conference.
Thanks so much, and I just want to add one thing. So visit the chat rooms. I've been to the not only the technical sessions, but reaching out to people that I know through the chats. I think it's a really nice interactive way of reaching out to people that you know and asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask questions, reach out to people, connect with people. That's the whole experience. Yeah,
exactly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Appreciate
Great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Awesome message there also. Thank you so very much for Eduardo Gildin there, talking about that first technical session. So, it's a long conference. Both of the HSE and the LACPEC conferences are continuing all week through to Friday. So a lot of really packed program content, technical sessions, and also plenary panels discussions. So let's have a quick look at some of these panel discussions. So on the health, safety, environment, and sustainability side, they have some great topics coming up. They have leadership and engagement, global conservation efforts, and the HSE plenary functions of the future. So some really, really topical key discussion points coming up tomorrow on the HSE side. And if we take a look at the LACPEC side on the technology, so digital transformation, so that was really what Eduardo was talking about there in terms of the utilization of digital technology in oil and gas and how that's helping to advance us. So a key panel discussion tomorrow is on digital transformation. So let's now turn our attention to the HSE side of the twin conferences. And really that was kind of really well summarized in the opening executive panel session this morning. So it was talking about the state of the industry and the path forward, sustainable energy shaped by innovation and engagement. Some really excellent discussion during this morning's session, looking at exactly that sustainable development of oil and gas. So here is a good soundbite from that session from Armando Zamora, the president of ANH in Colombia.
The industry has to be aware of new technological developments. There is technological development everywhere, continuously, all the time. The industry needs to capture that industry development, especially in aspects related to sustainability, cleanliness, global warming, and doing things the right way.
And now we're going to have an interview with Elena Moratini. She was on the executive plenary panel this afternoon, or sorry, this morning at the conference, State of the Industry and Path Forward, the sustainable energy shaped by innovation and engagement. So welcome, Elena. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
A really good panel session today. So I just really wanted to ask you very quickly for the audience, what were your main messages that you wanted to bring forward in today's panel session?
Well, generally, I think that what I tried to do was to bring in positive messages, first of all, because I think that despite the fact that the industry has clearly a problem, which is the problem of helping how to face climate change, being especially the energy industry, one of the most responsible industry in that respect, the message was positive in the sense that we technical people have a lot to do to solve the issue that has been created in respect to emission. From our tasks standpoint and from our jobs standpoint, we have a lot to do, and we need to move on to the implementation phase of doing all we know that needs to be done so that we can face the challenge, we can face the problem, and we can hopefully solve the problem in the decade of action. What we know is that we have to be fast. We have basically 10 years left, and that time span is possibly one of the key takeaway in general of all this argument of sustainability. We do not have a lot of time. So we need to get our acts together. It's a call to action, and we really need to cooperate among us, which means private sector, academia, public sector, and civil society to solve the problem all together, trying to avoid skepticism that doesn't really help in terms of moving forward.
Okay, thank you. So there was I got a lot of urgency from this morning's discussion between you and the other panelists, and you know you mentioned skepticism and you know what the role of the oil and gas industry is in all of this. Based on your sort of your and the other panelists' discussion, what were your main takeaways from that session today?
There is a clear new message on transparency. So the disclaimers, the sustainability reports, our declaration, the energy transition reports, they all need to be based on transparency. So we need to have the ability of measuring the numbers that we're actually disclosing, because in many cases it has been qualitative and not quantitative. So we need to be able to know what we need to measure, and those numbers that are measured need to be disclosed in a transparent way. And somehow we need to make of this GHG, like greenhouse gases or CO2 in particular, somehow the new commodity. We need to be able to base our actions on the numbers that we declare. And on those numbers, we need, of course, to reduce and mitigate and take action. So it's very pragmatic. It's a very pragmatic approach in which somehow the new culture, it's a little bit the no blaming culture. I mean, we know that there have been problems and that there have been damage, and now we are here to solve that damage. So let's put it in a sort of positive forward attitude to solve the damage that has been created in the past and make of this green economy the new market. And that new market will not leave anybody behind. There shouldn't be any human stranded asset in this just transition. It has to be a just transition towards the reshaping, refocusing of energy.
That's some really powerful messages you got there. So no human stranded assets, transparency, pragmatism, new culture. So that kind of also, to me, resonates with this virtual conference environment. So what's your impression of this conference environment? Does it make it more international, more transparent?
Well, let me say two things. I've always enjoyed discussing in person in the panels with other experts throughout my life. So I do miss a little bit the human dimension, the human touch of those situations. Having said that, I think that you're absolutely right. There is an enhancement of internationality because now people can participate from anywhere, regardless of the budget. We always had a budget that we had to accommodate with our traveling and conferences that we would go and present to. So I think that this is a sort of very democratic opportunity in which everybody can participate, no matter where they're from and no matter from which company they're coming and how big that company is that would allocate the budget for this traveling to participate to those conferences. So somehow it is a big improvement in terms of a more holistic and democratic participation to the conferences.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful message. Thank you very much. And appreciate the time you spent with us now. I know it's very brief. I know you're very, very busy, so I'm going to allow you to have your evening back again. Enjoy the Italian evening. Thank you again for your interview. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
So amazing words there. Some very powerful words, as I'm sure you've all heard. So, transparency, pragmatism, new culture, that really speaks volumes about the virtual conference environment. So, it's a challenging time, obviously, and we all prefer to meet in person as much as possible. So if you're just joining us, we are reviewing the virtual Latin American and Caribbean Petroleum Conference and Exhibition, and also the International Health, Safety, Environment and Sustainability Conference, both co-located virtually by SPE. So originally they were going to be co-located in Bogota. So now we are going to take a look at the exhibition space, which is part of both the conferences. So, the technical conference is one thing, but an exhibition is something totally different. So please, if you are registered for the conference, please participate in the exhibition. There's some really, really interesting, informative stuff within the exhibition. You have the exhibitors there. They have various videos, information links. You can talk to the exhibitors via private chats. They're there to help you answer any questions you have. And if you haven't registered for the conference, then please do so. It is amazingly versatile and reachable. So please register for the conference, participate in the exhibition, talk to all our exhibitors. So this was a review of the virtual conferences that we have started today, day one, and they continue throughout the week through to Friday, and a really packed schedule for both the conferences, LACPEC and HSE and S. So please, if you haven't registered, please participate, register, check them out, some really great stuff. All the content is available on demand. So if you can't catch it now, you can catch it tomorrow. Great panel sessions coming up tomorrow. As I said, we've got leadership and engagement for HSE, very, very important, particularly now as we recover from the COVID-19. We have global conservation, starts to speak about the sustainability we have in oil and gas and that responsibility we have. And what is the HSE function of the future? A very, very important question to ask ourselves as we go forward. And then digital transformation in the oil and gas industry, what's next? So, that's the other really important piece. And we will be back later on this week, Thursday, to talk a little bit more about LACPEC and HSE and S conferences, and we'll be reviewing more of the content. Coming up next week, also along similar themes. So next Tuesday, SPE Live will be taking a look at energy and data, AI, data science, and me. So we'll be addressing in deeper depth all about AI and data science and what we as geoscientists and data scientists do together in oil and gas. And then on Thursday, we'll be taking a look at oil and gas 2050, innovation and sustainability. So coming back to that whole question about how do we as an oil and gas industry address sustainability and still maintain and provide the world with energy. So join us later this week and join us next week. It's been a pleasure talking to you all today. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you all soon. Thank you. Goodbye for now from SPE Live. Thank you.